Good morning. Well, it's morning for me anyway right now. So today's practice is going to be kind of interesting because we're going to be doing a number of poses and warm-ups to lead to a revolved triangle kind of near the end of our class. So I went out for a little bike ride this morning before the rain started, and I'm glad that I did because it's just starting to sprinkle now. So I am going to head back over to my mat and we are going to get things rolling. Let's start on our backs. Oh, there's a little bug in here to visit me, which I better take care of. So yes, we're starting on our backs and we'll have our knees bent and our feet grounded. It was a biting form of a bug, so I'm glad that I took care of it. So let's just take a few moments to settle into our practice. Perhaps let go of whatever you were doing prior to coming to your mat. And one of the best ways to do that is to start to unite with your breath. So softening the abdomen region and just beginning to sense and feel that life force, that subtle movement of your breath rising and releasing. You may have noticed if you read about the class that we will be using a blocker blocks today, specifically for the revolved triangle, but you may like to use it in some lunges as well. So if you have one handy, that would be great. So let's all meet with those knees bent and feet grounded. And we're going to do a practice for the lumbar spine, the low back. And it's a therapeutic practice that typically is called arch and flatten, but what we're going to do today is break it down. We're going to start with the arch. So on an inhale, I'd like you to start to contract the low back up into a small arch. And then on your exhale, instead of flatten, I just want you to come to whatever feels like neutral spine for you. Inhale, again, rising in to an arch that's a little bigger than what your normal curvature in your low back is. And then exhaling to neutral. Inhale, again, coming up and into arch. And exhale as you find neutral. Just notice that small natural curve in your low back. One more time, inhale, kind of exaggerating the arch up a little higher than normal. And then exhale, returning to neutral. Now we're going to switch it. We're going to introduce flatten. So on an exhale, press your low back into the mat like you're making an impression of it. But then on inhale, come back to that neutral spine, normal curvature. Exhale, go back to the flatten, press the low back. Inhale, neutral. Exhale one more time into flatten. Notice how you're engaging your abdominal muscles to make this happen. And then inhale just to neutral. So hopefully you found somewhat of a neutral spine in that lumbar area. And we'll just let that lumbar spine rest as it is as we move into the upper body next with shoulder. So we'll inhale and start to bring our arms up and overhead, listening to that range of motion, staying pain-free. And exhale, let's bring it back. Again, inhale, up and over. Exhale, coming home. One more, inhale. And exhale. Letting your arms rest. We're going to come back to those pullovers later, but we're going to move into bridge now. So your feet are about hip distance apart, and you want to keep your knees pretty much aligned over your ankles, especially as you're lifting and lowering. So let's root through our feet, and with an in-breath, start to rise up. With your out-breath, coming back to Mother Earth. Again, breathe in. As you're rooting through your feet, make sure all four corners of each foot stay grounded. Exhale and lower. Inhale, rising up, last bridge. And then exhale, return. So it wasn't our final bridge because now we're going to combine the arms overhead with our bridge pose. So let's put this combo together. Inhale, rising into bridge and taking your arms over. And then exhale, everything coming back home. Try it again. Inhale. And exhale. One more like that. Inhale. And exhale. Release completely. Let's counter those bridges by bringing our knees up and in for the pose called Apanasana. And then just gently let yourself rock from side to side. And then land here in Apanasana. And with your next inhale, extending your legs upward. Exhale, bending. Inhale, up. Exhale, bend. Inhale, up. And exhale, bend. Let's stay here and rock it out. I apologize. I forgot to unplug my landline. It'll be all over very soon, I hope. Unless they leave a message. Let's land right here. And now we are going to combine the legs up with the arms over. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. and exhale. Let's rock ourselves in Apanasana one more time. And then eventually you can roll to one side and we'll make our way into the table pose. So that phone message was actually from my son, who apparently is just getting back from a trip out west and was letting us know he made it home safe and sound. Let's go ahead, and if you did bring a block or blocks, if you have them, just kind of put one on the right and one on the left, because we'll be using them in a little while. So we're in our table pose, and just like we broke down the arch and flatten, now we're going to break down our cow-cat. So we're going to start with the cow, and on an in-breath, I'd like you to let your belly release down, your pelvic region tip up, and then look forward. But then on your exhale, just come to table, not to cow pose. Find a neutral spine. On inhale, come back to the cow back bend. Really notice all the parts of the body that we're getting into in this cow. Exhale, come back to neutral, table. Inhale, come back to the cow. Feel pelvic region, spine, shoulders, and head neck. Exhale, coming back to neutral, nice long spine, crown of the head reaching forward, tail reaching back. Now we're going to switch it. On an exhalation, draw your belly up, tuck your tail, tuck your head, cat. On the inhale, coming back to table, finding neutral spine. Exhale, round and tuck again. Belly in and up, pelvic region tipping down, tuck your tail. Inhale, coming back to neutral spine. One more time. Exhale, round and tuck. Inhale, we're back at neutral. Let's take our exhale to child pose, drawing the hips back. Now we'll inhale up to table, tuck our toes, and we're going to exhale into the downward facing dog. Now it's our first dog, so feel free to alternate pressing one heel and lifting the other, get a little bit of pedaling action in. And then let both heels reach back. Let's come to table and another pose of the child. Let's come back to table and add on. So we'll tuck our toes as if we're going into down dog, but instead of down dog, maintaining a table, just lift your knees up a tiny bit off the mat and hold it here. Now, if it gets to be too much, just come back down to your knees. One more good breath. Then very slowly start to go up and back into the down dog. Once you arrive, again, feel free to walk it out, pedaling those feet. Both heels reach back. Inhale, start coming toward table, but stop just before the knees land and give me another hold here. Tuck that navel to the spine. And then slowly lower the knees, untuck the toes, and find your child pose. Inhale back to table. Tuck your toes. Start to lift the knees again if it serves your body. Keep breathing, navel to spine. It almost feels a little like a crouching tiger. Now, again, slowly take yourself up and back into the down dog. And it can be a static one, just holding the heels back, or you can pedal it again wherever you're at with your practice this morning. But we're going to add on and bring ourselves up. So we're going to walk it up to forward bend. Let's inhale, rise up, reach up. And exhale, land in our mountain pose. Inhale, upward arms. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale up to a half fold. And exhale back down. Inhale back to the top. Exhale. Namaste at the heart. Inhale, upward arms. We're going to start adding on. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale to a half. Exhale, back down. Right leg, giant step back, lunge. Now I'm going to let you choose if you want to keep your back knee lifted or lowered. And then if you decided to have a block, you could bring it in on your right side and even just place your hand there. It's an optional prop. We're going to do a rotation. So your left hand is going to start to come up to your left hip as you rotate through your torso, your neck, and your head. Now, if you like, you could add extension of that arm, looking up, maybe taking that rotation a tiny bit further. And then starting to come all the way back down to the lunge and moving your block. We're going to step back for our first plank of our practice and choose if we'd like to be in traditional or if we'd like to bring those knees to the earth. Let's start to make our way down. Untuck your toes. Your hand placement should be just outside the chest shoulder region as we inhale, gently rising for cobra. Let's exhale, taking it through to the down dog. We'll be returning to lunge, so you could come to table and bring your right leg through, or you could just sweep your right leg through. Again, your back knee can be up or down. And if you'd like to pull the block in or move it over to the left-hand side, we'll do another rotation. This time, right hand to right hip. And if you like, right arm extending up, maybe taking you a bit deeper into your rotation. So these rotations are getting us ready for the revolved triangle. Let's start to bring that lunge home. Maybe move your block out of the way. Step together, forward bend. Make sure you're hinging from your hips and bending your knees a bit. As you root through your feet, we'll inhale, rise up, reach up. And we'll exhale, We're back in Tadasana. Inhale, upward arms. We're repeating the sun salutation. Exhale to the earth. I want to get some more rotations in for us. Inhale up to half. And exhale back to the earth. Right leg back. Here comes that lunge pose again. If you liked the block, pull it in under your right hand. Let's rotate left hand to hip. And if you like, left arm up. Feel that twist, that rotation. And let's bring it home. Move the block if you had one placed in there. And we're taking it to plank number 2. Nice long spine. Navel drawing up to the spine as we slowly release. And inhale, rise for our second cobra. Exhale, take it through, down doggy. Returning to lunge, either table and right leg through or just stepping the right leg through. Pulling the block in on the left-hand side if you like. Rotating right. Choosing your position in the rotation. Let's bring that home. Step together, forward bend. Inhale, back up to the top. And exhale. Let's bring our arms down to the sides in our traditional Tadasana pose. Kind of reset and recenter. We're going to move into our standing poses next. And we're going to kick it off with Warrior One. We'll keep our shoulders and hips squared to the front short edge as we travel back with our right leg. Usually there's about 2.5 to 3 feet between your front foot and your back foot. And as we come into the front knee, it should land over the ankle, not over the toes, not back here, right over the ankle, stacking the joint. And then from your hip point, there'll be a slight hip hinge forward so that you're not leaning up and back. So just a slight hip hinge, and that should feel good and it would help protect your lumbar spine. Let's start this one in Namaste. We're going to do a little bit longer hold in our Warrior One today, building strength and endurance in our legs. From our Namaste, we're going to open into the cactus arms and hang here a little longer. Let your shoulders plug down into the shoulder sockets and let your hands be soft. So sometimes when we take upward arms, we take our shoulders with us out of the sockets. So let's keep the shoulders plugged in and just lengthen up through the arms. Keep the hands soft. So if they weren't plugged in, you'd be rising them way up. When they are plugged in, they kind of just sink right down into the sockets. So are you feeling that strength and power in the lower body? Let's release it, but keep our foundation set. The front leg has straightened, and next up is pyramid, which is another pose getting us ready for the revolve triangle. So on an out breath, we're going to start to hinge from our hips, keeping our spine long. Now, if you need to bend the front knee a little bit, that's fine. This is a big stretch for that front leg hamstring muscle. Let's draw our hips back and then bring awareness to your core, your center, and inhale up from that place. Let's do another one. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Draw the hips back. Lengthen your spine. Again, from your center, inhale up. We're building lots of strength here. Let's do one more. Exhale, pyramid pose. I'm going to reach my hands back and hold on to a wrist for this one. And breathe. And then with an in-breath, we're coming up again. Nice. Let's take the back right leg and start to rotate it open. So we're changing the foundation now so that our shoulders and hips are open more toward the long edge of your mat, but at a diagonal. They're not facing the long edge. They're kind of coming up and over. Next up is triangle. So how about we start with our arms parallel to the earth, and we'll tip left into the triangle laterally. Now, don't make the mistake of reaching down too far with that left arm and hand. Instead, keep your body nice and open. And then moving from your center again, we're going to inhale and windmill this triangle into the reverse triangle. So working a lot of core strength in our practice today. Exhale from your center and tip left for me again, Trikonasana. Inhale, back to the reverse. One more time, exhale. Here's that triangle. Imagine the back side of your body leaning up against a wall. Inhale to the reverse. Exhale, warrior two. We haven't been here yet today. Center your torso right in between those legs. Soften your facial expression. Now we're going to tip left vertically again, but the left hand will come to the thigh. We'll keep that left knee bent and the right arm is vertical. Now we're in modified extended side angle. If you want to go deeper, you could tip left a little more, letting the forearm maybe come to the thigh and the right arm over. If you wanted even more, you could bring that block in next to the inside of your left foot and leg and reach down for it. This is pretty deep. Not a lot of people will go here, but it's an option. Now we're going to rotate down and to the right, coming back to lunge. All right, let's take left leg back for plank number 3 of our practice. Choose knees up or knees down, and let's take it to the earth. On an inhale, here comes Bhujangasana, that cobra pose. And on the exhale, good old downward facing dog. We're going to let that down dog travel up to our hands and find forward bend. Take a couple breaths here in this forward bend. Let your head, neck release. Inhale, rise up, reach up. And exhale, arms at the sides, Tadasana. All right, we're going to repeat the standing postures on the left side. And then we're going to go into that revolved triangle. I know you're waiting for it. We'll start with warrior one, walking our left leg back. And remember, when we're walking back, we're not just creating distance, we're also keeping our feet and legs hip distance apart. So almost like a cross-country ski kind of track. All right. Let's start to come into the warrior one, knee over ankle, slight hip hinge, and hands together at our heart, just like my little statue female goddess there on her knees. Feel yourself rooting through your feet, anchoring to the earth. And then we'll start to open up into the cactus. Hands are soft, shoulders plugged into sockets again. Arms slowly reaching upwards toward the sky. Facial expression is soft. And then let's start to release. Hands can find the hips, and we're getting ready to practice our pyramid on second side. So with an out breath, we'll start to hip hinge forward. Leading from your center, inhale back up. Let's try it again. Exhalation. Nice long spine. Inhalation. Up. One more. Exhale. Let's fold. Maybe you want to reach back and find a wrist on this one. Stay a bit longer. And then inhale, come on back up. Changing the foundation by rotating just the left hip, leg, and foot open. Right leg stays as is. Bringing our arms parallel for the triangle, tipping right laterally. Lead with your center as you inhale up into your reverse triangle. Exhale again through to the triangle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, last triangle. Let's take a few breaths in this one. Inhale to the reverse. Exhale, warrior two. Tipping right to the extended side angle, keeping the front knee bent. Choosing how deep you're going to take it. Maybe you're going to that forearm with the arm over. Maybe you're reaching down for that block. And then we'll rotate down and left into the lunge. We'll step back for our final plank of this morning's practice. Navel to spine as we bring it to the mat. Inhale, rising for that cobra. And exhale, floating through into down doggy. Let's walk our feet up to our hands, forward fold. Inhale to the top and exhale, mountain pose. All right, so we are going to try our revolve triangle now, and I want to kind of guide you into it step by step. So if you have a block, you might want it on the right-hand side. I am going to actually stack 2 in their flattest position because I think that'll be a nice height. But you can play with your block. It can be high, can be medium, can be low. Play with it at any height that you think you might like, or some of you may choose not to use one, but I would suggest using one for this pose. So you're going to stand kind of next to your block or blocks, and we're going to walk the right leg back where the blocks are. Now it's like you're setting up for warrior 1. So you've created your distance, you've created your width, and what we're going to be doing is our pyramid pose to guide us in. So hands are on the hips, and we're going to start to hinge and fold like you're doing your pyramid. And then your right hand is going to rest on top of your block or blocks. Now, you'd like to maybe be almost parallel with the earth with your spine, but do the best that you can. Now, you could stay here, or you could start to revolve or rotate to the left. Notice my hand's still on my hip and my back heel lifted, and that's okay. It helps you with the revolution, with the rotation. The final piece would be adding the top arm. So you can see how we kind of look like we're in a triangle, but we revolved it. If you extended your arm up, maybe start bringing it to your hip and then rotate back so you're facing the earth. Press away with your hand as you start to rise up and out of the pyramid. Let's step together. All right, I hope that first side went well for you. I'm going to move my block stack to the left to get ready to try the next one. So I'm standing next to my blocks. I'm going to walk the left leg back. So we're building our foundation first. Shoulders and hips squared forward. Then we'll hinge from our hips coming into the pyramid. And our left hand will rest on top of our block or blocks. Now this time we'll be rotating to the right where your right hand is on the hip. And then the right arm may be extending upward. Start to come back as you're ready. Rotate back down to face the earth. As you press off, come on up. And step together. Wow, that was kind of fun. Let's move our blocks out of the way. And how about we have a seat on our seats? Legs out front in Dandasana. Sometimes in Dandasana, I like to kind of rock from side to side a little bit and then just kind of center onto my sits bones. And then how about we just start to pour forward over those legs and breathe. Let your upper body relax. Let the head neck release. Wherever your hands are, kind of plant them, but stay down low wherever you're at. And then start to slide your heels toward you so that the knees lift up a little bit. And then hinge forward some more. And maybe you'll notice a nice stretch in your low back. Plant through your hands again and slowly start to come on up. And then let's make our way onto our backs. Knees will be bent, feet will be grounded. Feel yourself settling. And then start to walk your feet a little further apart. Let your arms open up a bit out to the sides. And then we'll let our legs release right and our head release left. As you breathe in, come to center, neutral. As you breathe out, legs are left, head is right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, switch again, legs right, head left. Inhale, center. Exhale, legs left, head right. Inhale, center. One more to each with breath. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Stay here. Maybe bring the feet a little closer. Now we're going to do a hip stretch, our reclined pigeon, bringing our right foot up to rest in front of the left knee, letting that right knee maybe move out and away from you. This is position 1. I have some students who stay right here for their pigeon stretch. Position 2 is picking up those legs in that position and drawing them in closer to you. Position 3, if you like, is extending the left leg up. Pick the position that serves your body. Keep your head, neck, and shoulders grounded. Keep the base of your spine grounded. And while you're here, maybe rotate that left ankle. Of course, if that foot was planted, you probably couldn't rotate it, but you could probably maybe do something with your right. And then we'll start to bend that leg, lower it, plant the foot. Stay here with me a bit longer. Let that right leg slide ahead so you're in a crossed leg position. Arms opening up out to the sides. And we're going to let that cross-legged position release left. Keep our shoulders grounded. And roll the head right if it serves you. Try and release all effort and surrender into this release. We'll bring the head and neck back first and then engage your core and help you bring those cross legs back up. And as you take the top right leg off, go ahead and draw some circles with it. And then go the other way. Bring that knee in for a hug. And then plant the foot. All right, let's bring the left foot ankle up to rest in front of the right knee. Allow that left leg to kind of open out and away. Position 1, stay here if you like. Position 2, bringing the legs up and inward. Position 3, extension of the right leg. So I know some people like to hold on behind. Right now it would be your right thigh. However, if doing that forces you to have to lift up your head and neck, then that's not good. So then you could just hold on maybe to the outside of your knee and maybe hold on to the right thigh so that you can keep the head, neck, and shoulders grounded. Rotate that top ankle around if you like. And then we'll start to bend the knee if you had extended the leg and come down and stay here. Slide the left leg forward, crossed leg position, arms open out to sides. Crossed legs will float over to the right this time. And if you like, rolling your head to the left. Surrender into the release and breathe. Start to bring the head to neutral. Again, engage your core and mindfully bring those cross legs to the center. As you start to take the top left leg off, go ahead and draw some circles. Just a nice little release here at the end. Maybe change the direction. Bring that knee into the chest. Bring the right knee up to join it. Placing your hands on the kneecaps. Let's draw some circles up on the ceiling with our knees. And go the other way. Hug the knees into the chest. Plant one foot at a time. And let's get ready for a little bit of relaxation time. If you'd like, you could grab a blanket and cover yourself up a bit. Maybe you like the long-legged position for your Shavasana. I usually prefer to keep my knees bent and my feet grounded, or sometimes I'll use a bolster underneath my knees. Once you're settled, close your eyes. Soften the facial expression. Soften the internal organs and begin to notice your breath. I'm going to guide you through a 61-point practice to keep your mind on something so that we're not thinking about other stuff while we're supposed to be relaxing. So we'll start by just bringing awareness to the space between your eyebrows, and I'll just have you keep following my voice, moving your awareness to each body part as I mention it. So again, awareness right now is at our third eye, our brow chakra. Moving to the center of your throat, your right shoulder joint, right elbow, right wrist, tip of the right thumb, tip of the index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger. Right wrist joint, elbow, and shoulder joint on the right. Coming back to our throat, moving left to the shoulder there, the left elbow, the left wrist, the tip of the left thumb, left index, tip of the left middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger of the left hand, left wrist, elbow, and left shoulder joint. Returning to the throat center. Moving to the right side of your chest, your heart center, the left side of your chest, your heart center, traveling down to your navel center, your pelvic center, the right hip joint, the right knee, the right ankle, tip of the big toe on the right foot, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and pinky toe. Coming back to the right ankle, the right knee, the right hip, your pelvic center, left hip joint, left knee, left ankle, tip of the big toe on the left foot, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and pinky toe of the left foot, left ankle, knee, left hip joint, pelvic center, navel center, heart center, throat center, eyebrow center. Staying in the eyebrow center, and visualizing your breath from the eyebrow center. Let's start to bring the awareness back from our Shavasana. Feel free to move and stretch any way that might be serving your body at this time. Take your time and eventually make your way up into a seated pose, and we'll close our practice for this morning. Well, it's morning for me. It might be afternoon or evening for you, but so once again, it's probably one of my favorite decks of cards. They're called How to Love Yourself cards. And the card that I happen to pull for us today says, "My past is part of the richness and fullness of my life." And then the flip side says, "Without my past, mistakes and all, I would not be here today. I love myself for my willingness to learn and grow." And this one really hit home for me because sometimes we may still beat ourselves up for things that happened in the past, mistakes that we made, people we maybe hurt. And we have to realize that that past makes us part of who we are now. And so we really need to forgive ourselves and remember that through the past and through the mistakes is where we have the opportunity to learn and grow. So let's bring our hands together at our heart center. Let's honor our past and all the wisdom we've gained from it. Let's honor the future and all the possibilities. But let's practice living in the present moment, in the here and the now. As Ram Dass says, be here now. Namaste, my friends. So much gratitude to you for being here online with me. Love you all. Make it a great day. Bye-bye.